Hi, I'm Steven from Rincon Property Management, and I'm here to talk to you about the new ordinance that got passed in Oxnard in regards to rent stabilization and how that'll affect your rental property in the city of Oxnard. The city of Oxnard recently passed an ordinance in which they are building in a rent control ordinance, which basically they're trying to stabilize the rent to keep it fair among properties in the city as rents have continued to skyrocket. I'm going to go over 4 key points that will help you navigate this ordinance, as it is very beneficial to self-managing landlords as you try to figure out if your property is exempt from it or if you need to comply with the ordinance. The first thing I want to do is talk about the ordinance and what exactly it is and how it would affect your rental property. The first thing is a landlord cannot raise the rent more than 4% yearly. This is bigger, a stronger rent control than 1482, which limited your rent increase to 5% plus CPI. This one is limiting you to 4% regardless and over a 12-month period. There cannot be more than one increase annually unless it's covered by the Costa-Hawkins Rental Housing Act. However, there is one way to raise your rent more than 4% annually, but you do have to go through a couple hoops to get there, with one being petitioning the city of Oxnard to approve your rental rate because you are not getting a reasonable rate of return. A reasonable rate of return has to be proven by the landlord, and the burden of proof falls strictly on the owner of the property. Although you will be sending a petition to the city, the tenant has 30 days to notify the city of why they feel the rent increase is not justified, and you must prove as the landlord that it is justified. The city will not pay any of the cost or anything to go into this petition, and it is the landlord's sole responsibility to take care of it and provide any fees, any applications that come with petitioning a rent increase. With all those things to consider, the third key point I want to make is there are exemptions to this ordinance, including a lot of common properties in Oxnard. The exemptions are covered by the Costa-Hawkins Rental Housing Act, as well as the Tenant Protection Act of 2019, which provides some more exemptions during this ordinance. Some of those exemptions include low income or dorm housing, affordable restricted housing, or most importantly, any property that can be sold separately from the other dwellings. This includes single-family homes, condos, townhouses. As long as they have separate and alienable title, then you're able to be exempt from this ordinance. Another exemption is a duplex with an owner living on one side of the property. Those are your 4 exemptions, and it's really important to seek professional help to understand where your property falls and how it relates to you in the city of Oxnard. With that being said, there are notice requirements for your property even if you are exempt from the ordinance. The city of Oxnard has required that a landlord provide written notice of the exemption at the start of a tenancy or by the specified time that the city has required. The owner must include notice of existence of Chapter 27, Article 2 of the City Code, and the tenant's right to respond to any fair housing petition that may come into effect if the landlord tries to raise the rent more than 4%. No rent increase should go into effect until all those requirements are met. In conclusion, although the rent stabilization ordinance is a big ordinance for the city of Oxnard, it does have its restrictions, which I've outlined previously. The key points to this video is that a landlord cannot raise the rent more than 4% annually if their property falls under this rent ordinance. Of course, there are exemptions, which we covered in the second key point, which applies to single-family homes, condos, townhouses, and many more. But you do want to seek professional help to determine where your property falls. And lastly, you just want to make sure you get the proper notices out. Failure to get those proper notices out can leave your property liable even if it were exempt. And lastly, as the notices continue to change, we always recommend seeking legal help to make sure you get the most current and up-to-date information. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you like this content and want more information, please feel free to like and subscribe to our YouTube page below, and feel free to check out our Learning Hub to learn more about the ever-changing laws and regulations. Thank you so much.